Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
We'll begin our service this evening with a reminder of how good and pleasant it is for people to dwell together in unity. Hine Ma Tov, page 128. Hine Ma Tov, u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Ma Tov, u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Sing with me. Hine Ma Tov, u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Ma Tov, u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine Ma Tov, u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Ma Tov, u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine Ma Tov, u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Ma Tov, u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Top of page 124, 124 as we read together at the top. We enter the sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured. A beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into the sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within the human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayers. We turn to page 120 as we light our Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
For those who are able, we rise together for our Kiddush, top of page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת אמן.
Chaim.
L'chaim.
The bottom of page 127, 127 as we read together. We offer thanks, O God, for the Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. We turn to page 130 with Psalm 96.
I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shirul Adonai kol haaretz. Shirul Adonai shir hadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
The pinnacle of Kabbalat Shabbat, Lechado D 138.
Lechado di likakala pele Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likakala pele Shabbat nekabela. Shamo v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmiyanu hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemu tiferet v'litila lechado likakala pele Shabbat nekabela lechado likakala pele Shabbat nekabela לקראת שבת לכו ולכה כי עמכו הברכה בראש מכרם נעשה במחשב התחילה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה. התעוררי כי באורך, אורי 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 אורי, שיר הברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה.
We rise together to greet Shabbat Hamelka.
Boi v'shalom, ateret v'alakam b'simcha, uvetzot olah toch emunei, am segura, boi halah. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה.
We continue together at the bottom of page 145. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. We stay right here with our Chetzi Kaddish, the top of page 144.
יתקדש ויתקדש מרבה, אמן. בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ובימיכון ובחייכו בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מברך, מעל מולל מהמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויפעל וישומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה, שמי דקודשה בריחו דלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן.
We rise together 146.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? La 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 la, 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 la la la. la 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 la. Baruch hu Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Be'olam va'ed. Be'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la.
We continue together, the bottom of page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings out evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim, 150.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amecha Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu B'shokvenu v'kumenu Nasiach v'chukecha V'nishmar b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu le'orech yameinu u'bahem negeh yomam v'layla. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam, Le'olam va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך וקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Top of page 157, we continue together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land. The winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Our Michamocha 158.
כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. תורת תהילות אוסף אלה, תורת תהילות אוסף אלה, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוכי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. לה 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 לה, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
The bottom of page 161. Give us place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter and the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. We say it right here at the top of page 160.
Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom. V'hamidenu shomrenu
Lechaim. 163. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We say right here, Vishamru 162. Together, the middle of page 165. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. For those who are able, we rise together for our tefillah 166.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Hasei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Gehula Livnei V'nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Hozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh metim atah Rav le'Hoshia, Morid hatal. Mechachel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh metim berachamim rabim, Zomech noflim verofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umchayem emunato, Nishenei afar, Michamocha bahal gevurot, Umidom elach, Melech memit umchayeh, Umatzniach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata l'hachayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hametim. Atah kadosh v'simcha kadosh, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue together, top of page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue with our Say on the next page. Together, top of page 179. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May content reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship on all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praise you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. 178.
Shalom, Rabbi Yisrael, Amcha Tasim. Yisrael Amcha אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובחושך בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
We take a few moments for silent reflection.
רצון אמרי פי, יהיו רצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. May the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Say shalom bimromav, Yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru,
On this Shabbat, we think of those in our community, those especially who are in need of healing of body or spirit. We think of Barbara Edelman, Ina Albert, Linda Applebaum, Sophia Berry, Margaret Bell, Donna Berman, Ezra Brown, Harold Seitlin, Harit Cohen, Lydia Cutler, Jenny Deutsch, Sharon Lahan, Ruth Lishkoff, Elliot Moscow, Ron Ostreicher, Chad Petrowski, Malka Bat Rachel, Aaron Richard, Leslie Simon, Jean Sklar, Steve Spielberger, and Brenda Weinstein. For those who are with us tonight, if you're thinking of a loved one, a friend, and you wish to share a name out loud, we invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. For those names mentioned out loud and for those names that are still in our hearts, or Misha Berach, 371.
Of strength who blessed the ones before us, help help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbos.
I know it's Labor Day weekend. You guys have Middle Tennessee State tomorrow? I know, is Auburn playing? I don't want to get in trouble. Okay, just making sure. But I noticed when you moved to Alabama, they ask you who your team is. And another thing we've noticed about Alabama is that the power goes out a lot. Power goes out a lot. So Rachel makes fun of me because when we have to set the alarm clock at home, I try to sync it with my cell phone so you can see me watching my cell phone, and to get it right on like 7:53, I want it perfect, just my personality. Does anyone know where that time is coming from? If you guys were to take out your cell phones, T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, I know there's a Sprint. Okay, do you guys know? One time this was the case. This comes from Hashem, yes, the sun, okay. But there's one good source that we use here in America. The atomic clock. One time it was in Colorado. For America, that's time, okay? So time is really important. But it was really, really important for the rabbis. It was so important they didn't have alarm clocks, nor did they have calendars. So what did they rely upon when things would change? Who said the moon? A+. Lunar, okay. So again, that's how they knew there was Rosh Chodesh, there was a new moon, new month, okay? For rabbinic Jews and medieval Jews, time is important. We've established that. Where is the center of time for the Jewish people? Where is the central time?
Jerusalem.
Bingo, Jerusalem. Okay? Jerusalem, you see all the medievals, Saja Gaon, Judah Halevi. Jerusalem is where the atomic clock is for the Jewish people, okay? That's where it is. That's where the world was created. So that's Jerusalem. It's rabbinic theology, okay? So in order for there to be a new moon, especially for holidays, we know that the Beit Din, the legal court, or Sanhedrin, they got together, they saw the moon, and they established this is a new moon and a new year. But we have a problem. When they wrote rabbinic literature, we knew that Jews were outside the land of Israel. Some were in Rome, in Egypt. They were spread out in Syria. And we, the Jewish people, as neurotic as we are, they were even worse then. They said, what are they going to do in order to know that there is a new moon and a new year if they don't know when the Beit Din makes a ruling? What they also used to do, call them smoke signals. They would go atop a mountain, they'd light a flame. A couple miles away, they'd see the flame, and they too would light the flame. It's like the Return of the King, those who've read Lord of the Rings, okay? That's where Tolkien got it from. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how they would indicate something's happening. But again, that was also problematic. What happens if you're outside Israel? The flame's not going to reach Rome. It's not going to reach Tarsus. It's not going to reach any of these areas. So they perseverated over this. And we know it's written in the Torah that we're supposed to celebrate a new year. But the rabbis were worried that what happens if they don't know when the Beit Din has made a ruling as to when we observe Rosh Hashanah. So in order to ensure, I call this Masayag HaTorah, building a fence around the Torah. It's a metaphor of doing extra precautions. And again, with metaphor that Rosh Hashanah is one day, they decided to make it, I know where Sandra's going with this, 2 days. So we have a nearly 1900-year principle, give or take, of observing Yontif for 1 day and 2 days on Rosh Hashanah. Even in Eretz Yisrael, even today, they observe first and second day Rosh Hashanah with this concern of making sure they get it right. Now, when you get through the thick of it, they're going to say that Rosh Hashanah isn't really 2 days, it's just one long day. But then you may ask, how come we don't observe 2 days of Yom Kippur? You got to love rabbinic ingenuity. They said, oy vey, fasting for 2 days is too difficult. I swear to you, that's what they said back in the day. But Rosh Hashanah is supposed to be 2 days. But we have a problem as Reformed Jews. Don't worry, Sandra, I'm not making a decree that we're observing second day Yontif. Yet. I go. In San Diego, we observed 2 days of Rosh Hashanah. But we observed 7 days of Pesach and 7 days of Sukkot. But the rabbis did the same thing to ensure this double protection, Masayag Torah. They added an extra day to make sure that we were fulfilling the mitzvah they were right. Extra precaution. So we were a bit of a paradox. We observed 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, but only 7 days of Pesach and 7 days of Sukkot. My last year in San Diego, the seventh day ended on Friday night. What do you think we did Hamotzi with? Challah. It was mass mutiny among the Reformed Jews. How dare we have challah on the seventh day of Pesach, even though Reformed Jews only celebrate 7 days. See, it's very confusing. And I believe in the reason of Judaism that 200 years ago, Israel Jacobson, Abraham Geiger, we had to bring reason into the religion and say, you know something? We are rational. We have a calendar system. We know with time zones. We know when Rosh Hashanah starts and when it begins. But again, this idea of Masayag HaTorah, building a fence around the Torah to ensure protection, authenticity, in order that we are Yotzi. It's expression that we fulfilled our obligation to observe the new year, or 8 days of Sukkot, 8 days of Pesach. So what does that mean for us? I can tell you that 2,000 years ago, more than likely, Jews had milk and meat together. But by the 3rd century, they were really confused with the verse about boiling a kin in its mother's milk. They didn't know what to do with the verse, so out of rabbinic ingenuity, they came up with the idea, Masayag HaTorah, this means that we're supposed to separate milk and meat, to add that safeguard. Safeguard have kept Judaism alive for this long. And with the rise of the modern period, we were able to adjust and pivot to make it more look like the contemporary life. Many Reformed congregations will observe 2 days of Yom Tov, and many Reformed congregations will observe 1 day of Yom Tov. But I want to be clear. I'm not advocating for 2 days. I just want to teach the congregation as to why we have observed 2 days of Rosh Hashanah for nearly 2,000 years. It's to ensure that it's that airbag, it's that second parachute. In our lives, we all take precautions. In different capacities, in our occupations, or what we like to do, we have precautions. So second day Yom Tov, even though as the rabbis want to explain that it's one long, beautiful day, it ensured that Jews throughout the world were all doing it the same together. I don't know what that means for Temple Emanu-El in 5, 10, 15 years. That's up for the ritual committee. But for us, it's important, even as Reform, as contemporary Jews, that we know the origins of these things, because it's up to us to make the informed choice as to how we want to engage our Jewish life. Again, here's the key. Making an authentic, informed choice whether or not we observe second day Rosh Hashanah, whether we wrap tefillin, we come to Shabbat services, we light the Shabbat candles. Everything that we do in Judaism, one, we're supposed to do because it's written, but we're supposed to have intentionality behind it. And for us, that is making a conscious, informed choice. 2 weeks from tonight, Oy vey, Erev Rosh Hashanah. Sunday is a regular day for many people in this country. But it's still Yom Tov, whether you go to shul or whether you don't go to shul. But the good news is, we still get to reflect, we still get to introspect, and I don't believe in a God that takes attendance records. Shabbat Shalom, and I promise we're not doing second day Rosh Hashanah. Everyone's heart's pounding. Do you want me to add a mechitza? I'm just kidding. Okay. We rise together, Aleinu 586.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגול עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
On this Shabbat, we recall the yortzites of Jack W. Allen Sr., Morris Barstein, Pauline Berger, Arthur Berman, Bertha Berman, Bela Berman Block, Faye Brickman, Ann K. Cohen, Celia Cooperman, Harry Milton Datnoff, Gerald Gashi Dorsky, Mervyn Epsman, Melvin Birkin Estroff, Ida Rose Friedman, Richard Friedman, Stanley Gold, Susan Goldberg, Eleanor Goldblatt, David J. Goldstein, Florence Goldstein, Julius Goldstein, Mariel B. Goldstein, Beatrice Gordon, Solomon Grabov, Isidore Greenhouse, Julia Hannon, Julius L. Herman, Jenny Hersberg, Joanne Goldstein Hornick, Melvin David Jacobs, Jeanette Coppell, Jack Levin, Helen Madelson, Barry Parks, Samuel Stanley Picard III, Sam Picard Sr., Lawrence Schweitzer, Irvin F. Siegel, Celia Aylin Simon, Leopold M. Sonnenbend, Arnold Jules Tandent, and our heartfelt condolences in the recent passings of Jean Hagedorn, Harry Markstein III, Alan Siegel, and Claude Slate. We rise together as united congregation, our Mortis Kaddish 598. Yikadal Vikadash Shemei Rabbah, Bielma Divrach Rote Vamlich Malchute, B'chayachon of Yomechon, Uvkaye the called Beit Yisrael, Bagala Wizman Kariv Vimru.
Amen.
Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Li'alam Alamei Amaya. Yiparach V'hishabach Hipra'ar Hitramam Hitnaseh Vitadar Vitalev Vitalal Shmei Rekucha. The Eila Minko Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechamata Damin Ram Bioma V'yamru.
Amen.
Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Alena V'yakol Yisrael V'yamru.
Amen.
Osei Shalom B'imromav Hu Yasei Shalom Alena V'yakol Yisrael V'yamru. Amen.
Osei Shalom B'imromav Hu Yasei Shalom Alenu V'yakol Yisrael Ve'imneru. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I want to thank Paul, Jeff, everyone who's participated in the service. 2 weeks from tonight, we're not done yet. Adon Olam 625.
Adon Olam Hashem Alach B'terem kol Yetzir Nivra Le'et Nasa B'chefzo kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei Kiklot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Ve'hu Hayeh Ve'hu Hoveh Ve'hu Yiyeh B'tivara Ve'hu Echad Ve'ein Sheni Ve'hamshilo Le'hachvira Ve'li Reshit Ve'li Tachlit Ve'lo Ha'oz Ve'hamisra Ve'hu Eli Ve'chai Go'ali Ve'tzur Hemli Ve'etzara Ve'hu Nisi Umanosli Ve'nat Kosi Ve'yom Ekra Ve'yaro Avchitruchi Ve'eti Shal Ve'aira Ve'imruchi Geviyati Adonai li ve'lo ira. Good Shabbos.